All right, welcome everyone. This is a CGC pre-submission grading video. So I've got 10 books here that I'm going to go through and give my grades. And we're going to package this up and send it off to CGC this weekend. We'll be getting them back in probably a month or so. And we'll see how we did in comparison to what our expected grades were. So I'm just going to quickly go through these 10 books, show them off a little bit, tell you a little bit about them. So first of all, we have Venom Lethal Protector #1. So this is a foil cover, so that's interesting in that I did not press this. Some of these books I have pressed before I submitted, and this was not one of them. I'm not confident enough in my pressing skills to know how it would affect a foil book, so I just skipped that. And really, this book didn't need it. I actually picked this up at an auction, a live auction, not an online auction, but a live auction, where I just bid on a long box where it was just a bunch of random, mostly Marvel 90s books, and not a lot of interesting stuff in there. But this one was actually in there, and it actually was in great condition. The corners are sharp. And also interesting is this is the newsstand variety. So I have this one tagged as a 9.8. So we'll see how we do when we get it back. All right, moving on to the second one. This is actually a book I had in my private collection and picked it up probably off of at the comic book store when I was a kid. Obviously, Spider-Man 2099 #1. Again, foil cover, so I didn't press it. These foil covers are really hard to have them not show spine ticks. So any little bit of spine stress really shows up on them. So I was fortunate to have this bagged and boarded and stored away in a way that just didn't really have much of a spine stress issue. There's a little bit of just sort of indentation showing where the top staple is. I think that's just the way the book is manufactured, but we'll see how CGC comes back on it. Barring that issue, this should be a 9.8, so we'll see how we do on that. All right, next up is something I got at on eBay, so online auction, Eternals #1. This is the 1985 miniseries, part in a 12-part miniseries. So this is #1. Picked it up for about $8 or something online. Really pretty good condition. I did do a little bit of dry cleaning on the back and pressed it, and got in pretty good shape. I think this is going to come back at a 9.6, so we'll see. All right, next up, another book I got in that random long box at the In Real World auction. So this is a beautiful John Byrne cover from the Wolverine actual series, #17, Wolverine. And let's see, this is dated 1989. Newsstand variety, beautiful cover. I did have to press this out. Interestingly, this had like a little bit of a crease right here, obviously not color breaking, and I was super happy that I was able to completely press that out with the heat press. And this one I'm going for a 9.8, so hoping for a 9.8 on this one. All right, next up is a run of books that I picked up at the Real World auction. This was not in the long box. This was actually something I had to bid up a little bit. Got in a bit of a bidding war with someone on them. But it is the Wolverine miniseries, Frank Miller, 1982, I believe. It's a 4-part miniseries. I've got all 4 here, so just quickly running through them. This is #1. I think I'm going to get a 9.4 on this. Really nice spine, but there were a little bit of just kind of like some impressions. Maybe someone set a small battery or something on it, almost looked like just a small little dime size impression, and I was able to mostly press that out, but I think they're gonna probably pick that up. So 9.4 on this guy. #2, this one looks to be probably the best shape of the collection. Beautiful flat color cover. Nice spine. I'm going to conservatively say this is a 9.6. If we do better, great, but I think this is probably going to turn out to be a 9.6. It's not the sharpest corners, and maybe it'll ding me on the off-white color pages. We'll see. #3 in the series, This one is a black cover, which obviously is really hard to maintain and just shows all flaws. This one has some obvious spine ticks up and down that are really apparent on this black cover. So we're gonna say this is a 9.4. And then the final one in the series, Wolverine number 4. Gonna say this is a 9.4 as well. Just a little bit of spine stress. I'm not sure what exactly why I mark this as a 9.4. It actually does look pretty sharp, but yeah, conservatively we'll say 9.4. Okay, next up, changing it up a little bit. This is X-Men. You can see I have a lot of Wolverine in my collection. Big fan. So this is X-Men from the Jim Lee series that launched in '92. So this is a number 4. The first few in that series just had heavy print runs, not really worth anything. This one might, if it comes back at a high grade, could be worth a little bit just because it's first appearance of Omega Red. I believe this is a 9.8. And finally, I have some book I also picked up in that real world auction. Actually had a few of these show up in one of the long boxes I just picked up. And it's a bunch of Sleepwalker number 1s. Kind of interesting right now because there's some talk of Sleepwalker may be making an entrance in the MCU. So number 1 issue from the 91 series, and this one needed a little bit of a pressing but is just in really excellent condition. It has a black back cover which picks up a ton of defects really easily. This one had a really pristine back cover, so going for a 9.8 on this one. All right, that's it, folks. So we'll package these up, send them off to CGC, and we'll check back in a couple of months.